So today I wanted to be comfy. I had to run some errands at the mall. So I wanted to keep it comfy and rep the kingdom at the same time. So I wore my walk into the room like God sent you shirt by God is dope. These jeans are supposed to be stacked, but the stacked ain't giving. Okay, the stack just ain't stacking like I wanted to, but it served its purpose. Rose gold Crocs and my Marc Jacobs bucket bag. So let's get into what the message of this shirt means to me. Walk into the room like God sent you. What that means to me is when I step into the room, the Holy Spirit comes with me. Therefore, the atmosphere will shift. And don't take it personal because it's bigger than me. Because what happens is when the light enters a room full of darkness, the darkness begins to feel uncomfortable. The Holy Spirit showed up, and so now this atmosphere is shifting. This shirt can also mean if I'm going somewhere where I feel unqualified, walk into that room like God sent me. Why? God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies whom he calls. So if God sent you, you better go into the room walking like God sent you, holding your head up high like God sent you, and with the confidence knowing that God sent you. Because if he sent you, he's going to empower you to get through it. That might look like a board meeting. That might look like a job interview that you didn't have the credentials for. That might be preaching your first sermon. That might be walking into a difficult conversation. That could be going on an assignment into a dark place where God sent you to bring people out of the darkness into the light. That might be starting a Bible study in your house. That might be your first day of college at the Ivy League school that you felt like you didn't have the qualifications to get into, but God sent you there anyway. That might look like running a $1 million company as the CEO, being surrounded by people who aren't very fond of you. Walk in the room like God sent you anyway. Because if he planted you there, you better believe he's going to empower you and give you everything that you need to accomplish the assignment. And to drive that point even more, here's some people from the Bible who felt unqualified for what God was calling them to, yet God qualified them for the assignment. So again, what does that say about you? You're qualified because he sent you. And there ain't no unqualification to it, if that's even a word. All right, so now seems like the best time to pause and share a quick little story time about my personal experience when God sent me somewhere and I felt unqualified. So about 4 or 5 years ago, when my children were still being homeschooled, to be exact, they were in a virtual charter school. So they learned from the comfort of our home, and I was their learning coach. So I could be as involved and hands-on in their education as I wanted to be. And I was very involved and hands-on because I feel like it plays a huge role in the outcome of your children's education. We were at an event being hosted by the school in person with other children who learn from the comfort of their homes and other parents. And the superintendent of the school approached me and asked me if I would join the board of directors as the parent liaison. He wanted me to join the board of directors over the entire school and be the voice of the school's entire parent community. Y'all, my first thought was like, me? Are you sure you're after the right person? Because I don't have a background in education at all. I'm just a stay-home parent. So my response to him was, can I have some time to think about it? I really need to pray about it. So I did just that. I went to the Lord in prayer. And while I was seeking God about how he wanted me to move and shake in this situation, I was also asking the superintendent what would be required of me. Long story short, God was like, go. I'm sending you and you can do hard things, my child. I low-key wanted God to be like, this is not my will for you. But y'all, his answer was the complete opposite. So what I do? I went, because how can I be like, Lord, use me, but not for this? So out of obedience, I took the next steps, which was an application process. I had to provide my resume and I had to answer a number of questions, all of which was presented before the entire board. And they had to make the decision together to accept me into this role. And they did because God had the final say. So I became a member of the board of directors. My picture was placed in the office on the wall next to all of the other distinguished members. And y'all, I remember at my first board meeting, I was surrounded by a number of individuals who had years worth of experience in the education field. I was the only one without a background in education. I was the youngest. They were retired teachers, retired principals, people who had experience with politics. And it was just me, a stay-at-home mom with a background in fashion and textile management. And I ain't even gonna hold you. I was nervous before every meeting. I had to pray and trust that God was going into every meeting with me. And if he planted me here, he was gonna give me everything I needed to get through each and every meeting. And he did just that. My voice counted in every vote for the decisions that was made for our school. I had to have tough conversations. I had to stand up for what I believed in, even when it meant voting against something that they were presenting. I did not compromise, even when it came to respectful debates between me and other individuals who were twice my age. And I do believe that God planting me here was preparation for something in my future. And I never understood the extent to which God was using me. Mind you, I didn't have to. I just needed to obey. But I never understood that extent until another board member reached out to me. He was moving on to a new endeavor and leaving his position on the board of directors. And he thanked me for the perspective that I brought to the room. And he encouraged me to keep standing up for what I believe in and to keep using my voice because it was valuable and it was being heard. And I knew that God used that man to speak to me. I continued to serve in that position until God called me away from it. And I was able to walk into every board meeting with my head held high, knowing that God sent me. It's your girl Shequita from Queen of Her Closet, signing out, your faith-filled friend of fashion who's been saved by grace and now styled with taste. I'll see you guys in the next video.